And we're back. Ashley, I like that.
I know, right?
That was a really good start. That was a really good start. Ashley is not here. She'll be arriving in 10 minutes. She's still celebrating the Knicks win over the Heat. That was really good.
Yeah.
Hey, for a form of punishment, welcome back. We love you guys to Paper Route, our last show of the week. It's been another phenomenal week of learning and chilling with you guys. We got Corey in the cut. We got Ashley Nicole Moss, who's not here yet. She'll be arriving in 9 minutes. Yeah. We got BC in the control room. And we also got our fact checker, Woo, who from time to time may jump. Oh, Woo gets off.
Look at with the branding in the back, too.
Okay.
Paper Route.
Okay, I didn't know, Woo. I didn't know you had your camera set up. Mm-hmm. That's really good. Anyways, I think there's a lot to talk about. We know there's a lot to talk about. Tonight, the NFL is releasing their schedule. I know everybody's excited around the country. There's 320 million Americans and almost 100 million, Corey, are avid football fans. So there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on their teams and how they release their schedule. This is a big night of football. I love this. This is one of my favorite nights when it comes to the NFL because now you'll see all the organizations get super creative in how they tell their story and how they release their schedule. Yeah. So it's going to be pretty dope. You saw like the Mannings last year do some cool things with their teams, the Denver Broncos, and also the Giants. Basketball, a lot of basketball talk, and I want to jump in right now to punish Ashley for being late. And sometimes I'm late, so I don't want to throw any rocks, but we got to do it. We got to hold our teammates accountable. So let's just talk about the Knicks, so we don't have to have her talk about them. You know, so let's just jump in real quick. Let's go, Corey. Go.
Are we jumping right into the Knicks? Jalen Brunson scored 38 points in the Knicks Game 5 win over the Heat. Yeah, it hurt watching. But let me take the bias out of this. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, they do force a Game 6, so the series will return to Miami. But it was a big game, for their big three. Brunson, like I mentioned, 38 points. He played all 48 minutes of the game. He was, definitely their biggest contributor. Julius Randle had 24 points. He had a good game. And R.J. Barrett added 26 points. Brandon, you think the Knicks can force a Game 7 in Miami?
I do. You have Julius Randle, who still hasn't had that signature game. Has he had that? Has he had a signature game? And BC, you can jump in here and celebrate your Knicks and talk about a little bit. But has your boy Julius Randle had a signature game thus far in the playoffs? Because if he has one, right, he'll be right there. But I expect Jimmy Butler to be Jimmy Butler and get the job done by any means necessary.
Last night might have been as best as it's going to get.
You think so? Was it 24 points?
He was 4 for 7 from 3. He shot very well.
No, bro, I'm talking about a 40 piece and a biscuit.
Nah, he hasn't had that yet.
Right, and we've seen him throughout the regular season, not only this year but the last few years, have one of those games, right? So he's due for a game. What's your thoughts here, BC? You're from New York. You're a big Knicks fan. What are you thinking?
What was the question?
Oh, my goodness. BC, we're done with you.
I didn't hear.
I said, just what's your thoughts on this game? You're a Knicks fan.
Oh, the game? Well, shit. I think that, the Knicks showed up. They did what I told Corey they were going to do, which was win the game at home and bring it back to Miami. We haven't had that signature game yet from Randall. And hopefully he keeps his head on straight and we just, come back and take it in Miami. That's it.
You think it's going to You think that signature game is going to come in Game 6 in Miami?
I mean, it can happen at any time. They caught a little fire last night. Things got good, so maybe, you never know. We caught I think they found a little mojo, though, with the Heat. So maybe if we can keep that up and they miss some shots in Miami, then, they'll be good.
So question for you, BC. Do you think it's fair for us to start the show talking Heat and Knicks without Ashley Nicole Moss?
Definitely not. She's gonna come on here.
Listen, because
and talk that talk. So
BC,
go out there and talk that talk for the Knicks.
You know what's going to happen, right? Y'all going to lose, all right? And you guys aren't going to have an opportunity to talk about your Knicks for a very long time. So this really was her last opportunity to talk about the Knicks.
While things are still alive.
She's
we got a chance.
So here's what we're going to do, guys. Soon as she walks in, let's change the conversation.
We're gonna shift right to Lakers.
Yeah, so like soon as she walks in, Corey, like it's like, all right, let's time to transition from. The,
all right, so now we're gonna talk about the Warriors. That's what
let's do it. But Corey, what did you think about this game?
I mean, we would have liked to seen a better game from Jimmy Butler. I think he waited too late to really turn it on. Like at the end of the game, I mean, it was close, right? Like I believe it was in the third quarter, the Knicks were up as much as 19 points, right? And the Heat were able to rally, bring it within 3 points in the fourth quarter, right? To the help of, Jimmy Butler started off the fourth quarter really well and whatnot. But yeah, it was. We had a bad night shooting. Duncan Robinson, he was 5 for 10. He had a decent game and whatnot, but overall we just had a bad night shooting. The Knicks had a good night shooting.
Corey, you can't come with that energy, brother. Like you and Ashley was talking big, going back and forth with.
We were, man.
Who's going to win? You dancing, you celebrating. You got her riled up yesterday, and then your team losing, and you come in and you giving me this like politically correct answer, like bro, like own it, bro.
I am owning it. We shot bad. We shot horrible last night. I mean, I wouldn't say horrible. Because we shot 38% and whatnot, but it's not good enough. It wasn't good enough to get the game, get it done in the game. And Jalen Brunson showed up. Like he had a really good game.
Is that sustainable? All right, here she go. Go.
All right, so we're gonna speak on the Warriors getting the dub last night versus the Lakers in Game 5. Right? They're gonna keep their hopes alive in this series. The Warriors, they survived again, like I mentioned last night, 121 to 106. Steph Curry was the leading scorer. He had 27 points and 8 assists, but the story of the night was Anthony Davis. Right? We saw him go down with 7 minutes and about 43 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And we actually have the play. I want to actually take a look at the replay real quick, and we'll dive into it.
Gary Payton. Davis still struggling on that Laker bench.
You can see it here. Watch Looney's arm right across the face.
Payton picks up his 4th foul. You see the numbers on Davis. 23 points, 9 rebounds.
All right, so we want to welcome Ashley Nicole Moss to the show.
Sup, losers?
No. We're talking Lakers.
Oh.
Yeah. No, we already did that block. We're not.
Oh, okay.
We did the Heat Knicks in the
That's
A
all right.
block.
We gonna it's 8 minutes after the hour. We did not finish the A block. Don't
No,
sit
we
here and lie to
did. We
me.
did. We talked about it.
Don't sit here.
Transitioning
Well,
to
you
the
know
Warriors
what?
now.
We're gonna talk about it again, but we can go ahead and talk about the Lakers. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sup, losers?
No. Who are you talking about? The Lakers or the losers?
man.
No, the Heat are the losers.
Ashley, stay on task. We're right.
We're talking about Anthony Davis.
Now we're gonna talk about the New York Knicks. After we talk about Anthony Davis, don't try to play me. I know y'all try to steal my moment from me because I had some technical difficulties getting here today, but we gonna circle back. So we can talk about the Lakers first. Go ahead.
Well, tell your people, because everybody's falling in love with you, right? Everybody. I was in a barbershop yesterday. Thanks, Woo. Take care of her. Sorry, you can put the camera on her.
Now I hear Brandon in my ear and in my face. Look at that. Look at me.
I was in a barbershop yesterday, right?
You were. I see. Cleaned up.
Right.
And I'm sitting down and my buddy's like, yo, paper route. I was like, oh, damn, appreciate you rocking with us. Like, yeah, we watch every day. And he's like, I love Ashley Nicole Moss. He's like, she's beautiful, but she's so smart and she knows the game.
Was he cute?
What's your type? You like Drake? You like Drake?
Oh, no, I'm cool.
Whoa.
I don't find Drake attractive. I think
don't?
I'm like the one woman in the country who does not have a thing for Drake.
Wow.
He's just not my type.
Not your type?
No.
I thought you liked light-skinned brothers.
I do, but Drake's just too much. Drake's just he's too light-skinned, if that makes sense. I like light-skinned dudes with dark-skinned dude tendencies.
So tell your people, why you're late. And
I let my mom use my car to run some errands, and it ran over a little bit, but we're here. We're good.
All right, we're talking Lakers, Warriors. Where we at with this discussion, Corey?
So, I mean, what's been the topic of discussion is AD going down with a head injury with about 7 minutes left in the game. Right now, they're worried that it might be a concussion. And I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at that replay there. He took an arm. I mean, it was like a forearm to the head from Kevon Looney as they were trying to, get a rebound and whatnot. And he went out. I mean, he went out for the rest of the game. So there's concern that he might not be available for Game 6. And, of course, that'd be a problem for the Lakers. So my question is, are the Lakers in trouble if Anthony Davis isn't suiting up next game?
Well, Chris Haynes did just tweet out 23 minutes ago that Los Angeles Lakers star Anthony Davis, head injury, is expected to be available for Game 6, bearing a setback. So it may not be as bad as it looked, or not necessarily that it even looked. More that it was even discussed. I mean, the injury itself didn't look like it was overly intense, but it was all the stuff that came out after that. He needed a wheelchair.
Yeah, right.
To lead, he had to be wheeled out in a wheelchair, and that was, if you're a Lakers fan or just been following Anthony Davis's career and an Anthony Davis fan, anytime there's an injury, you're nervous. But when you hear wheelchair and things like that, which I believe, Brandon, is that, I mean, I don't know how it works in the NFL, but if you get a concussion or any type of head injury, is the wheelchair just kind of like protocol, so you don't have to walk?
Well, we do the golf cart, right?
Well, yeah, the golf cart, right? Okay, we don't have the golf cart in basketball, but like the wheelchair, I would assume that's just like
but
protocol.
But they didn't put him in a wheelchair, did
No, they said that he had to be wheeled out in a wheelchair.
Right, so...
and some people were saying it's just protocol.
It's not, well, in the NFL, it's not protocol, right? Because we've seen guys sustain a head injury, go into the tent, be tested, walk out, get into a golf cart, or walk into the locker room, right, for more tests. So I don't think that's protocol. I mean, here's what it is, Ashley.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm about to say. You know
I don't, but I'm scared.
NBA players are soft.
Whoa.
Like, come on, think about that. Like, you got to be willed to the back, and you don't even have a hit. You don't even. Draymond Green actually is more of a football player than anything. Remember, Draymond Green, was it the same game where was that the same? That wasn't the same game. Maybe it was a game before where Draymond fell and hit his head. I thought Draymond was concussed. Was that the same game or was it the game before?
I think it was the game before.
The game before, and he got up and finished the game and actually came in and had that sweet behind the back play layup. And I'm saying that because he's on the other end of the spectrum than Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, shout out to Anthony Davis for this postseason run that he's having. But this is what we expect, right? You fall, and then you get wheeled out, and it's like you don't finish the game, but you have other examples.
So are you willing to look into the camera right now and say that NBA players are soft? Because I disagree, but I
disagree?
You think NBA players are soft?
They're worse than soccer players.
They play 82 games a season.
That's endurance. That has nothing to do with toughness. That has nothing to do with toughness. I'm talking about he get hit in his face, right? And then he's like, he's doing this. And then you can't finish the game. You got 7 minutes left in this game. I don't know if he thought the game was over because they were down by like 12 or 13.
They were down by 13 at the time.
13 at the time. And he's like, you know what, Braun and them got it. Like, but that's not the attitude that you want. Yes, and I can look into the camera right now and say that NBA players are soft. They are. Now, is there some yes, NBA players are soft. And I had this conversation so many times. I don't care who sits on their show. Any NBA player, you can bring it up, and I'll say it to them. Facts. We literally go across the middle, get smacked by a dude going 20 miles per hour, knees twisted, head hit the ground, and bounce right up and go to the next play. You don't think am I wrong here?
I mean, I feel like the sport, is more dangerous. Some people may say that you have to be not all mentally there to play football. Why would you willingly play a sport that gets you smacked around every day you step on the field? That's insane. NBA players may be the smarter ones, not playing a sport that's as physical, not playing a sport that is as detrimental to their life after the sport, a sport that pays them a lot more money guaranteed. Some people may say they're smarter.
Well, that's not the debate. We talked about tougher. And, so that's not the debate. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. But the debate is if they're tougher. But look, Anthony Davis, hopefully he's okay. I read the same thing coming in where, early tests showed that it's more than likely not a concussion. And this is a really good thing for the Lakers because without AD, they don't have a chance. AD throughout the playoffs, I mean, we talked about this yesterday where there's Devin Booker. Where did you have Anthony Davis as far as playing lights out in that top 5? Did you have him in your top 3?
No, I only did a top 3, and I had Jimmy Butler, Jokic, and Devin Booker.
Oh, I would say
the best players in the playoffs.
I would
right
say
now.
AD is at 4 or 5.
Really?
I mean, think about it.
There's
He's
no
been
argument
playing
there.
lights out on both ends, and he's
Well,
been available, right? So without AD, LeBron has to go out there and have one of those games where LeBron goes for 40, 50 points for them to have a chance. Because what you don't want is a Game 7 in Golden State.
I agree, 100%. The chat's going off about your NBA players are soft, and
What are they saying?
Pamela Garvin says that
Pamela, hey, she's always here.
She is.
Shout out
Shout out to Pamela.
Shout out Pamela.
She said they're not soft. They're great actors.
She said they're great actors.
I could see that.
Okay, so Miss
I can see
Pamela, let
that.
me
I
ask
can
you
see
this
that.
question, Miss
Part of the
Pamela.
game.
That's actually
to a
not
certain
inaccurate.
extent.
That's not inaccurate.
Let me ask Miss Pamela this. So if they're great actors, what was AD acting? What story was he telling?
Basically saying that like they're a little over dramatic.
Okay,
Like
so
the
but
flopping
the game
and the I got a hit in the eye and now I can't see, I'm seeing like what LeBron say, I'm seeing 3 rims. Like it's a little dramatic. Like it's a little there's a little bit of a theatric, I feel like, in basketball that you don't get in football. That I will 100% agree with. There's more theatrics in the sport. Like there's more like you barely get touched and it's like, oh my God. Like it's a little
Because drawing fouls is a part of the game.
yeah, drawing
so
fouls is a part of the game and
I
some
get
guys
it, I guess.
take that very seriously.
Right.
We won't name names, but y'all know who you are.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's definitely blown out of proportion at times.
So how do you see this series playing out?
my gut leans still towards the Warriors just because I feel like they are a dynasty. And I feel like dynasties don't crumble easily. They don't go away easily. I think that Anthony Davis, although he's not, again, he potentially may be back for Game 6, bearing no setbacks. But if AD's history is anything, even if he's on the court, he may or may not be affected by what happened in Game 5. Like it
He
just
has to be.
he tends to sometimes with AD. Sometimes his injuries or minor, major, whatever they may be, sometimes they tend to linger a little bit longer than I think that they probably should, and affect him a little bit more than they probably should. And AD's the type of player I feel like that has a small kink in the neck in Game 5, and in Game 6 he still can't play the same way. Like he's just that kind of a player. So I feel like he may get timid in Game 6. Like he may be spooked from I feel like getting hit in the head in Game 5, just because of the type of player that AD is and what we have seen of him.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he will allow that to spook him in Game
And knock
6.
him
That
off his
not
groove,
be
right?
be as physical.
Man,
I feel
then
like
that's
it
a problem.
happens.
I want to go back to this NBA versus NFL players being soft thing. I'm in the chat now.
Are they
Haven't been in the
are they
chat for a
agreeing with
couple of
you
days.
or?
No, I mean there's some interesting comments here. You have Roe Jr. Roe, please comment where you're from. Would love to know more about you. But I disagree with Roe Jr. Roe Jr. says this, and this is exactly what you said. You don't have to as tough as most. We got to get your typing right, Roe.
Oh my
You don't have to
gosh.
as tough as most football players are, but it's wild to say professional athletes that play up to 82 games are soft. Shaking my head. We got to get the typing down.
So basically he's saying.
Yeah, I know what you
Oh,
said.
okay, yeah.
But hold on. What does that have to do with toughness, right? Like think about this, right? Anthony Davis falls, hits his head, or he gets hit in his
Let's
head.
not use AD. AD's like an anomaly. Like
that's
you're
where we're at.
using the worst possible. Can I get like a middle of the road
So
example?
AD, well, I gave you a good one. There was a contrast, right? The game before in the same series with Draymond Green, but AD gets hit in his head. All right, he goes out on a wheelchair. He doesn't return in one of the biggest games of his life. Okay, a football player gets hit in the head. Boom. He's fighting the coaches on the side for his helmet back. Think about that. Tua Tagovailoa is like, put me back in the game. No, Tua, you're about to die.
Whoa.
No, it's like, I'm serious. What do you mean? Tua's like, I mean, I'm not making fun of it, but that's why, you know, coaches have to step in at times and protect their players. And a lot of times you see that there. So, Ro, I disagree with you. I disagree with Ashley.
What about players like Charles Oakley, Dennis Rodman,
Tough.
Kobe Bryant,
Tough.
LeBron James?
I saw a video of Kobe Bryant.
Jimmy Butler. I mean, what
tearing
about
his rotator cuff and then finishing the game with his left hand? Y'all remember that? Y'all seen that? Ooh.
Julius Randle? I mean,
They're
Julius
still soft,
Julius was
though.
playing. Julius was playing basketball yesterday with one eye. Not only
tell
that,
you what.
but we've
One
seen
eye,
we-
Ashley, stop.
His
Now
eye
you dramatic as him.
No, his eye was. He looked like a boxer. His eye was literally shut. Not only that, but
At
like,
the beginning,
let's not even forget when he sustained his ankle injury in the first series against Cleveland, and then again in Game 1, I believe. He walked back to the tunnel.
Listen, I
like
think
he
that-
wouldn't even allow his teammates to help him. He walked
can
back
I-
on his own accord.
All right, let me rephrase it.
There
all
are
right.
some.
They're softer. They're not soft. They're softer than football players.
I don't know if you can you say
All
that?
right, you can't disagree with that statement.
They're
Yeah, that's a
softer.
good
That's what that's crazy that you rephrased it that way, because I think that might have been a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
That they're softer than football players. They might not be soft.
What
Because
makes them
if we're gonna use
softer?
if we're gonna use Anthony Davis to kind of represent basketball players, then yeah, basketball players. are soft.
Zion Williamson.
They're-
Oh my
but
goodness.
nah, I mean,
Zion, like, what are we doing?
Okay, stop
Soft
using
third.
the worst possible example
they
to make your
soft third.
point.
They softer than football
Like,
players.
what?
Because you can't say they tougher. You can't say they tougher.
But
so
I think
if they're not tougher, then therefore
I
they're
mean,
softer.
I think toughness though is like. I don't feel like it's. I feel like it's a case by case situation. I feel like there be tougher basketball players than there are football players, and vice versa. I feel like
Yeah,
it's
there'd be
more
exceptions.
individualized than it is as a group thing. Because let's be honest, wide receivers are brats. A lot of them are not super tough. No offense, Brandon, but y'all are brats. Like.
Brett. Wow.
Quarterbacks are spoiled. Like, just because, there are certain positions in football that may not be as tough as other positions
I can't.
that are
I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right, and that's what I need people to understand.
Are quarterbacks not spoiled?
I wouldn't say spoiled.
Are they not divas?
I think wide receivers are more spoiled, like the star players. Football quarterbacks, like we walk into the locker room. You know this, Corey. We walk in the locker room knowing that everything is going to be given to them and made like sweet, because without them, it's hard for anything to go. You got to have like an exceptional defense, a crazy run game to have a chance without a quarterback. I don't like quarterbacks. They're not demanding anything. They just walk in and they just have this type of way about them, this type of energy. Wide receivers, we're coming in. Yo, I need my socks like this.
Yeah.
Yo, like bringing this out here. I need my
Yes.
special water bottle with my juice. And then after practice, I got 3 people coming to work on my body.
Yeah.
So I would say that, wide receivers, really good wide receivers. Like, and I would say there's probably 7. And don't put me on the spot here and make me name them because I haven't done the work, right? But there's only really 7 true number ones. Like when I say number 1 wide receiver, like I'm saying you're a dog. You're a Stephon Diggs. You're a Devontae Adams. You got 32 teams, so they say you got 32 number ones. No, not everyone is equal, okay? But those 7 or 8 dogs, they get whatever they want when they walk in the building. And when you don't, when your play dip, bye, peace, right? Like Antonio Brown, for example, right?
Yeah.
It's like Terrell Owens. It's like when your production starts dipping a little bit, it's easier for them to say, all right, we're going to move on, because they don't want to deal with all of that stuff. But anyways, I thought we were talking basketball. The Heat and the Knicks, that was a phenomenal game. That was our last time talking about this series because the Heat will advance. When do they play again, Corey? Tomorrow. Okay, cool. Now let's throw up the next graphic. The Lakers. We're going to finish this conversation with the Lakers Warriors, Ashley, right? So you get the final say on the Lakers Warriors, and we'll move on to some football.
No, we're going to move on to the Heat and the Knicks. Y'all not going to play me. But I said that I said even before this game happened, I think that if anybody can come back from 3-1, it's the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough climb. That's asking them to win 3 in a row. Not all 3 of those games are at home. I think that any gaps in the offense or defense, just the game in general of the Los Angeles Lakers, this team is more than equipped to take advantage of it. Now, what version of the Warriors will we get when they go on the road? Are we going to get Game 7, Sacktown Golden State Warriors that went in there and said, yo, I know we had a crappy road history this season, but screw it. We go ahead and win this one and do what needs to be done? Or are we going to get the Golden State Warriors who have been stinking it up on the road all season?
Right.
That's going to be the difference maker. Yeah. What version do you get? Steph can't do it by himself. He needs the help of Klay Thompson. He needs Jordan Poole. He needs all hands on deck, because what's going to happen is the Lakers are going to double team Steph Curry and try to take him out of the game. So who is next man up? And if they can go ahead and attack that, I think that they'll go ahead and have a chance to win this series. I don't think the Lakers beat them in a Game 7 environment in the Bay if it goes back.
Coach McCarthy, I see you in the chat. Coach McCarthy says quarterbacks are protected. Listen, guys, if you're in your car, you can turn on Sirius XM. You can hear us on channel 103, Faction Talk. Sirius XM is a tremendous partner for us, a tremendous platform. So those who are listening, we love you. For you guys on YouTube, obviously, rocking with us every single day live, we love you as well. I may lean into the chat a lot today. I haven't had my iPad. A couple weeks ago, I was flying to Atlanta to speak and having a phenomenal time.
Was that the symposium thing?
Yeah, it was a symposium. You read a comment from that. But Ashley, it ended terribly because I left my iPad on the plane. And so I haven't been able to connect. I just moving too fast. Moving too fast. So
that's a big object,
there's a part in before we dive into more sports, there is a part when the plane is starting to descend that the flight attendants say, okay, go ahead and close your trays and wrap up the use of your electronic devices and put them away. We're going to be, landing into whatever airport shortly or whatever. That's kind of your cue to start closing things up, wrapping up your chargers, and sliding them into your bag. So did you just ignore that whole part of the plane experience?
I'm usually really good. Nagin, head of social for us, she got me this literally a couple days ago, she forced me to put a little tracker.
The AirTag. Right? Yeah, I have those in my bag.
Oh, you do?
I have them. Not in my carry-on, but any bag that I check, because I have slight anxiety when it comes to checking bags. I have a fear of the airline losing my bag.
Right.
And this actually true story. When I was coming back from, where was I? I was on a work trip. I want to say I was in LA, and I actually had to check a bag. And I like I said, I have anxiety, so I put an AirTag in my check bag, and I'm waiting for the bag to come off the carousel, and I'm standing there, and it doesn't come off.
Right.
And I'm like, this is my worst fear. Mind you, I'm already home. So it's not like I'm at my destination, but I'm home. I have nice stuff. So I'm like, where the hell is my bag? I go to the front, the desk, whatever, at American Airlines, and I'm telling the woman, hey, my bag didn't come off the carousel. Where is it? And she's like, maybe it didn't leave. She's trying to tell me that it didn't leave the connecting airport that I was in. So I pulled out my phone and I said, no, my AirTag tells me it's in the airport. So where the hell is it?
Right.
Find me my bag. It's in the airport at Terminal 7 or wherever it is. Go get my bag. So AirTags, I love AirTags.
Right.
Yeah, put them in your wallet. You can put them everywhere.
Put them on my car
Did they get your
keys,
bag for you?
Yeah, they got my bag because I knew it was in the airport.
I'm glad you got the bag. I'm going to have to start using this because I lose everything. I'm just moving too fast. You guys can follow us on social, our content on the go. I absolutely love being on the go. And so, I just got to start slowing down just a little bit. So we love you guys. I'm going to lean into the chat. Chat, you guys let us know if we should let Ashley talk about the Knicks and the Heat. Right?
Yeah.
Well, let's let our audience and our teammates let us know if we should go back to the Knicks and let you have a moment, right? Because I really feel like this is going to be your last opportunity talking about the Knicks until the NBA draft. Right? That's it. It's over, right? It's going to be done. What are they saying? What is the chat saying, team?
Looks like it's crickets. I don't know.
It's crickets. Can you guys let us know if you guys want to hear from Ashley Nicole Moss? Should Ashley take a Knicks victory?
Let Ashley talk about it. Thank you, Christy.
Yes.
Thank
Brandon,
you. Yes, Brandon. Let her talk about it.
It's her team.
It's my team, baby. Let
her
me
cook.
talk
Let
about
her
it. Let me
cook.
cook. Let me
NFL
cook.
soft.
Now they're rolling in. Now they're rolling in. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Oh, dang. Can
Ain't
I get a no? Can I get a couple no's, please?
Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, huh?
Can I get a couple no's, please? Give Ashley the stage.
Give that queen her moment. Yes.
All right, go.
I just want to say that I sat in this very chair yesterday and I said, ain't no quit in New York. And Corey said we taking a short subway ride home. Randy was laughing.
Definitely did.
And I said, no, if we are going to lose this series, we are going to lose it in the 305 with some dignity. You're not going to take it from us in the Mecca. Not in front of our fans, not at our house, not on 7th Avenue, not at the Mecca of basketball. Talk to them, BC. They don't know. They don't know.
Talk to him.
There ain't no talk to them, baby. They don't know. Ain't no quit in New York. We don't know how to quit. We don't know how to forfeit. We're fighters. We're gritty. They don't call us the New York Grits for no reason. Ain't no quit in NYC, baby. Respect us. Talk to them, BC. They don't know. They don't know.
Let's go, baby. Knicks in 7. Let's go.
They thought we were done.
Stop that.
They thought we were over.
He took it too far. He said Knicks in 7. He took it way too far.
They thought we were over. They were making jokes. They had their tweets saved in the drafts, but they don't know that New York state of mind is very real. Talk to me nice. Don't talk to me twice, you heard?
All right, let me do this real quick. BC, now I know who gets you going, because when I'm talking to BC by myself, he just give me one-word answers. Now, okay, BC, I hear the juice. That's what we need. I love it. Really quickly, not really quickly, we can spend as much time as we want because we're on YouTube. Faction Talk, Channel 103, Sirius XM. Ashley, we're going into Game 6, right? This is Game 6? Mm-hmm. All right. You're standing in front of the team. Mm-hmm. Prepare your pep talk. What do you say to your team? All right, boom. But hold right there. Corey, Heat fan. All right, get your pep talk ready.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So who wants to start it
Ladies
off?
first. Ladies first.
Nah, Corey, I just did a whole soliloquy. You can go first. Like, damn, can I get my voice get a break?
That's what I'm saying. You rolling. Keep rolling.
Can my voice get a break first? Go ahead.
So I am going first?
You're Spoelstra. You talking to the squad. Go ahead.
All right, guys. We know how to beat these guys.
Oh,
right?
shit,
We know
I'm
we're
sleep.
coming off of a bad game shooting. No, this is exactly what you're saying.
All right, go ahead. I'm just playing.
There's not much to say.
You're like, hey, guys.
There's not much to say. We don't need to panic. This is exactly what he sounds like. Hey guys, we know how to beat this team, right? We're up 3 games on them right now. Okay, we know we're coming off of a bad game shooting, right? They shot better than us. All we got to do, limit the perimeter shooting, limit Brunson and Randall's paint points, and we're good. We send them home in 6.
Yo, y'all getting smoked. You know what's gonna happen? Jimmy Butler like, hold on, coach, I got it. I got it, coach. Look, I need y'all to play defense, hustle. We ain't going out like that. Come on, brother.
That's his speech.
That's
All right,
Eric,
go.
we're talking about
All
Eric Spoelstra though, and then be like, Jimmy, take
All right.
over.
He gets
Jimmy,
spicy.
take over.
This is my speech. We lean in. All right. Come here. Check this out. They think they got us on the ropes. They think we soft. They think we don't got it. They think we ain't that. But I'm going to tell you what. We from New York City. We don't back down. We don't quit. We don't give them what they want. We going to fight 4 quarters of basketball, defense, offense. Julius, Jalen, I know your ankles hurt, baby, but that's all right. We all in pain. RJ, quarter 3, that's you. We from New York City, and we going down with a fight. You push, you fight, you grind, you hustle. This is New York basketball. Let's go.
Yup, and we in our locker room like we know they over there getting excited. Let's just stay status quo and get the business done, right? We just gonna get the job done in Miami at home. That's it. Jimmy, go handle your business, boy. Go get your buckets. That's it.
Corey, come here. What else are they saying in the chat, Woo?
Come on now.
No, they just bigging up Ashley now. You let her know.
Yeah. Add me to the staff, baby. Next season. Give me a role on the
Corey has
staff.
some sense because he know that's reality.
Ashley's cooking for real right now. Ashley, how does it feel just to be in your bag the last 2 weeks?
I just feel like I'm just chilling.
Me. I'm her.
I've just been doing it, just chilling, enjoying it. We kicking it. We get to talk about sports 4 days a week. I mean, it's not like we're talking about the global economy crisis or stuff like that. I mean, we're not saving the planet, but I feel like in this day and age where there's so much going on and there's like a lot of heaviness, I hope that we can provide 90 minutes of just like fun, laughter, and cool sports talk. So I'm honored to be in the space to be able to do that. So
there we go.
Well, we got another fun topic, right? And we can stay in the NBA, but last night the NBA released its all NBA teams, right? So, all players, they're voted onto their respective teams by a panel of sports writers and broadcasters. So let's take a look at the first team. It's a couple first-timers on there. Well, in the first team, we got one first-timer, that is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He joins Luka Doncic as the backcourt, and the front court is Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. So that's your first team, and we also got the second teamers here as well. Second team, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry. That'd be the backcourt for the second team, and that is Donovan Mitchell's first selection too.
I cannot believe that was not first. This is not first team.
Hold on. So you think this should be the first team?
I can't believe this is not the first team.
Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler.
This is a very good.
Steph Curry,
this is a very good second team.
Joker, Donovan Mitchell. Go back to the first one. I know you have the third one, Corey.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one. So you have Giannis, Luka. Luka did his thing. Joel Embiid's the MVP. Shai was third in points per game this year. So I can understand this beating out anybody else here. Jason Tatum. Well, you said, wasn't it you that said Jason Tatum? You gave him a little nod for MVP, or was that Stack?
That was not me.
That was Stack.
That was Stack.
Fourth in MVP voting. So
right. Okay. Where's the third?
So let's get back to third. Yep. There you go. Third team, you got De'Aaron Fox and Damian Lillard in the backcourt. In the front court is LeBron James, Randall, and Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis.
What team does Julius Randle play for?
All NBA selections.
Just curious. What team does he play for?
Knicks.
Is that respectable?
Okay. Like, just making sure. I'm actually surprised Jalen Brunson's not on any of these teams.
Right.
Like
Over Fox?
Who are you
pulling out? Who are you pulling out?
Right.
And how do they do this?
I'm actually surprised. I love Julius. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of 30, but I'm actually surprised that Julius made it over Jalen Brunson.
Really?
Yeah. With the season that Jalen Brunson was having, it's.
So you would say
I'm not mad at him for making it. I'm just surprised he made it over Jalen.
You would say he's your biggest snub? Like, who's your biggest snub, though?
Probably Jalen. I mean, when you talk about like John Morant, but I think other things came into play with that. But if we're talking about just like non-outside factors, probably Ja, probably Jalen Brunson.
You got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker.
I'm surprised Devin Booker didn't make it.
Or you're not surprised about Kawhi, right?
No,
because he didn't play enough.
Kawhi played like 12 games this season.
Right. But Devin Booker, that's
whatever. Devin Booker is a shocker. Kevin Durant, I think, is a victim of injury. Also, remember he missed.
He was out for an extended period of time.
Missed like I think what was it, like 2 months. Devin Booker though not making any of these teams is insane.
Well, I mean, I guess we're considering how he's been in the playoffs. I mean, he was on another level during the regular season, but he just upped it up a notch though. Come playoffs,
a notch, 10 notches.
Yeah, I think though the thing is with all NBA. I mean, Jalen Brunson was a snub, but I think also with all NBA, if I remember correctly, for the most part, you can't make any of those teams if you're not an all-star. I think that's like one of the. I mean, you can, but it's unrealistic for you to. It's highly unrealistic or probable for you to make an All NBA team if you weren't an All Star.
Derwin Lattimore in our chat says All NBA is a joke. Yeah. Why would he feel that way?
Sometimes it's a little political. I don't think it looks at a lot of factors that make a player special throughout the season. I think sometimes, a lot of the times, you see a lot of the same names every single season. And I don't think it reflects the true essence of a player throughout the season sometimes. Sometimes it seems like it's a popularity contest. You see the same names frequently. So I think that's probably what he means by that.
And shout out to our team. Throw that 3 box back up there with the graphic there. Shout out to our team there, Jazz in LA. JP probably worked on this as well. You know, shout out to our team there. Shout out to BC and BC 30. You know, I want to stay right here, but BC talking to Nick Talk with Ashley. Loves basketball, knows basketball. That's why we had to put a camera and a microphone there. He just folded last week. Ashley, were you here when BC folded? When we threw him out there?
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah.
And what BC said was, he was like, bro, like, I got to make sure your sound's up, Ashley sounds up, throw video here, do this, do that, while trying to listen to you and chime in. So, BC, you're redeeming yourself right now, but shout out to you. We got our little bar. What is this, a breaking news bar at the bottom?
Yeah.
Is that what you added there?
It's called a yeah.
We have a ticker. What else can we add to our ticker in the future? But shout out to our team, just, you know, growing the show. This is pretty cool.
BC's in a better mood, and his energy's up because the Knicks did what they were supposed to do.
That part.
You feel me? He's revived as an individual. He has new life in his spirit, in his soul, in his essence. He's on one. Yeah, baby. Go Knicks, go Knicks.
I just hope he can keep the same energy when they sent home this weekend, though. That's
Where's your energy? Where's your same energy? Like, you had some crazy energy around the Heat.
Do you know how confident? Like, I'm not worried. I think that's what you're like. You're misconstruing. Like, it's just me being calm and cool and collected that the Heat are going to get it done in Game 6. I'm not worried.
Well, we know. Hold on. Ashley, we know he's calm, cool, and collected because that speech he gave.
Yeah, right.
Hey, guys.
Like, there's no panic in the locker room.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, guys. So.
Yeah. Because why should there be panic in the Heat locker room? We've been here before. We were just the Eastern Conference. You know, we were just in the Eastern Conference
They're
Finals.
also.
We're not worried.
Heat fans are boring. Let's be honest.
I respect
They got
that.
no flavor. They got no juice.
I
They got no
respect that.
sauce. They got no swagger.
Let me ask you this, Corey. Earlier in a production meeting, you talked about like Ja Morant and what he potentially missed out. Can you highlight? Because go back to the All NBA team, and you know we talked about how things can be political, and you know, give us a little bit more information there because this is news to me.
Yeah, I asked Ashley, you know, who are your snubs, and again she mentioned Ja Morant. Ja Morant. So recently he signed a 5-year, $194.3 million contract extension, right? So if he would have made, there were you know, stipulations in his contract saying that if he were to make an All NBA team, he would have been eligible for a super max contract deal, which would have turned to $233 million. But because he didn't make an All NBA team, he just cost himself $39 million.
Jeez.
So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts and reactions on that?
I mean, it's not surprising, but it also is surprising. I'll say it is surprising, or I'll say it's not surprising first. I'll start there. You know, there were a lot of off the court issues with Ja Morant this season that you kind of wondered if it was going to have this trickle down effect to his career, to All NBA, to his eligibility for a Supermax. With that said, All NBA should just be about the game. And if we're just looking at the game, he had an incredible season.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that it's rubbing people the wrong way, because yes, you are a product of your decisions. Every decision you make has a consequence, whether good or bad. He made a decision, it had a bad consequence, and a costly consequence. But with that said, lists like these are not supposed to go ahead and bring that into their deciding equation. It's supposed to be strictly about the productivity on the court. So it kind of is rubbing people the wrong way that all of a sudden outside factors are now dictating what statistically he was worthy of. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're talking about endorsements. It's not like we're talking about things that have a direct correlation to what you do outside of the game. Like, you can't be the face of Powerade acting crazy. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, that I understand.
Right.
But this is a list that is strictly about what you do on the court and your performance. So for outside factors to come into play has a lot of people divided, and I can understand.
Right. Yeah. For me, I just think it's just off. Right. I respect the media, and as a player, former player, you know, I realized halfway through my career that they're partners and they're like coworkers, right? So you need to establish a relationship with them. But I don't know if it's the collective bargaining agreement or if this is something. It seems like this is more of a collective bargaining agreement type thing, where if you make a all NBA team, you can be in position to get the Supermax, right? Or is that something that his camp, his agents negotiated in the contract? But I say all that because the writers vote. This is what I learned this morning. The writers vote for the all NBA team, okay? That shouldn't determine if a player, what he does on the court, right, is available, if the Supermax is available to him. That just doesn't make sense to me. Like, Ja Morant definitely should be in position to get a Supermax. Like, no question, right? So that's something that I think should be discussed and potentially changed.
Which is why people are saying, did you guys leave him out for politics or performance? Because if it was performance, it's not performance.
$40 million.
He was a top 5 guard this year. Let's be honest. So it can't be based on his performance.
He averaged 26 points, averaged 8 assists, and the Memphis Grizzlies finished in second seed in the West.
Right. So it's not based on his performance, and I understand what people will argue and say, oh, well, it caused him to miss time. It caused him to miss at most, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
His situation off
really
the court?
Like 3 to 4 games.
Which is not much, which is if you look at some of the injuries that some guys have sustained or load management, if you add it all up, they probably missed about 2 weeks also. So it's not like he missed this egregious amount of time, which I can understand is rubbing people the wrong way. All NBA is not supposed to go ahead and incorporate other factors that are not within the game, that are not happening within the game. So the fact that that potentially was the case, I think that's problematic.
But I will say this too. I've said this several times before on other platforms and probably over the last 6-7 years. I've lost almost $100 million in career earnings from making bonehead decisions when I was younger, right? Like those first 5 years, I was suspended. I got suspended once, was getting in trouble, got arrested, DUI, like doing all types of things in my youth, right? And I say that because it affected, me 20, 30, 40 years down the road or, for the rest of my life. And so athletes, we have to understand this. Remember me, you, and D-Jack got into this conversation and maybe this didn't show up in this conversation, but we were debating, how athletes should move and operate. No, this was on our show. This was on our weekly show. It was me, D-Jack, and maybe Shady, where we were talking about like athletes being young and that listening. I'm like, yo, you have to learn from others, right? Yeah, when you're 20, 21, 22, you're going to make mistakes, but it's on us, the Chris Carters of the world, that has their microphone. And I say that because when I was coming up, I could never understand why Chris positioned himself the way he did. I'm like, bro, you've been through some stuff too, right? Charles Barkley, the Shaquille O'Neals, Perkins on ESPN. Like, there's so many athletes in position. When these things happen, we need to use our microphone. We need to use our platform to speak to these athletes. And these athletes, the younger ones, need to be able to learn from others, right? So you don't make the same mistakes. Now, you're not going to be perfect because this is the result of that. He missed out on $40 million. I don't know if that was a bonus, and then now he's not in a position to get a Supermax. So we're talking about a guy probably, missing out on $200-300 million. I don't know the math, but it's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash.
I mean, think about it this way, like, in football, does off the field, if you were to get into a fight in a club, right, should that prevent you from making a Pro Bowl?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Because a Pro Bowl is based on your performance throughout the season. So what you have done or did throughout the course of a season in terms of outside of the game should not affect you from making a Pro Bowl. And that's exactly what this situation is.
But here's the thing. Here's the other part to it is, all right, we've seen that happen before.
Right.
We're seeing it happen.
It's political.
We're seeing it happen in Ja Morant, and that's why our younger guys need to move like bosses and understand how diplomatic it is and the opportunity. Like I didn't know how much of a business this was. It was all personal for me. In retrospect, like I would have came out and operated like Larry Fitzgerald. anytime these wide receivers come in or football players come in, I always say this, like, man, Larry came in like a year or two before me, whatever, and like the way he operated, like we're talking about a true pro. Man, that is the textbook, right? When we talk about being a pro. I came in just all over the place. More guys need to operate like that, right? Because when you operate like that, you're not leaving it to the politics. You're not missing out on bags. Now, it's hard, but it's something that we need to continue to talk about because it's definitely affecting a lot of guys. Think about Mikey Williams. We had him on the show last season. Mikey Williams, he's walking around with guns. And is that going to affect him? How much money does he lose? Why are you in high school walking around with guns?
I mean, I don't know what his.
Did you hear the story?
I did, but I don't know what like his situation is. I don't know what
the situation is. You're one of the you're one of the top grossing nil athletes in high school.
I mean, he was also in Memphis, and Memphis is not.
No, he lives in San Diego.
But I believe he got wasn't he caught in didn't he get caught up in Memphis?
He could have. But guess what? Don't go to Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis is not.
Don't go to Memphis.
I've been to Memphis.
But it's hard though, right? Because and that's why we have those conversations. It's like it's hard to tell a young athlete like you can't go back home, or if you go back home, you got to move differently. And this is the last thing I would say, and we can move forward. Because I was just like that. I would go home, sit on the block, sit on the porch. Homies coming around, and probably like year 4, what I realized, like, damn, my homeboy is one of the biggest drug dealers in Pittsburgh, right? I come in playing against I'm playing for the Denver Broncos. We're playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so he picks me up from the hotel. We're driving around the city. He takes me back to the hood. We moving around, and then it just hit me, we ain't getting no trouble, and I don't think he would put me in a position like this, but you never know. It hit me. I was like, damn. Like, I don't know what he got in his car. He could have a pound of weed in his car. He can have some bricks in his car. Hell, he might have a hit on him. And I'm in the passenger seat. We saw that with Chris Johnson. He got shot driving around with his homeboys, right? He talked about that on our show. And so it hit me then. It's like, oh, I got to move differently when I come home. So now when I fly home to Pittsburgh, and things are a little different in my neighborhood, but now when I fly home to Pittsburgh, I stay on the north side, right by this, because I stay on the east side. But on the north side, it get tough over there as well. But the north side is downtown. It's right where the stadium is. That's where my mom's from. So I'll just post up over there and have everybody from the hood come over there to me. Like, I bring them into my environment. And then when I go home, like, I'm not sitting on the porch. I'm driving in my own car. I'm making rental, Uber, whatever, and then I'll just chill inside of my Graham's house. I'm not sitting in the playground. I'm not doing none of that, right? So hopefully our young athletes are listening, because now everyone has a cell phone. You can go viral really quick. You can't hide. And then also their opportunity is tremendous, right? Like, Jerry Rice and even the Michael Jordan's different because what he did off the court, but like they not making what these guys are making now. They didn't do that. They didn't make that.
No, and it's hard. When I was at the Iverson Classic, we did a panel, and this is one of the topics that we spoke about with the young players. A lot of them are going into college, or they're going to go play overseas. They're 17, 18 years old, and we had this very conversation about, John Morant was brought up as an example, and we had this very conversation about, especially in the Black community, or just, communities that are minorities, but specifically the Black community, you're kind of taught when you come up, you got to take everybody with you, right? Otherwise, don't go Hollywood, basically. Like, when you make it, you got to bring everybody with you, and it's a gift and a curse. Like, yes, you want to bring, your family with you and things like that, but everybody can't come. And this was something that was really being preached to these young men, is that making that decision on who to bring and who not to bring,
right,
and what to do and what not to do, even though you grew up your entire life doing it, is so hard. A lot of the times it comes with, you learn that unfortunately through trial and error.
Right.
A lot of people don't learn that lesson at 19, 20, 21 years old. You learn that much later down the line, and you just hope there weren't consequences to those actions that were costly.
Right.
But sometimes going back to your old hood is not a good idea. There's nothing there for you.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
it doesn't make you Hollywood not to, you know, roll through the old hood and be like, yo, what up? Like, sometimes it's just there's nothing that's there for you anymore. And removing yourself from that situation doesn't mean that you forget where you come from. It just means that you know that re-immersing yourself into that situation is more costly than it is beneficial. And I hope that we continue to teach young athletes this, because I think that rap music and things like that, not blaming it because I grew up on rap music, but I think that there's this, you know, sensationalized and idealized idea of like when you go back to the hood and now you're a hood legend and you gotta like, it's not that. Like, if it's sometimes you don't have to go back. Like, there's nothing. Like, sometimes you just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, listen, in the chat. So I see King Cook here in the chat, right? And I respect your perspective, but I don't think it's as easy as this. King Cook is like, we have to stop making excuses for dumbass decisions. We have more than enough examples in the world on what's right and wrong. Sometimes folks just have to learn the hard way. It's kind of like what you said at the end, like some people are going to learn by their own mistakes. I don't think we'll ever solve the problem. I just want to see less.
I hope we get smarter with, like, you can still help your hood and not be in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, like, go back every single time. Like, you don't have to roll through Marcy to help Marcy.
Right.
Like, you don't have to go kick it on the porch with the homies to help the homies.
But this is how you do it, Ashley. This is how you do it. You go back, you have a barbecue, you do your, you know, your celebrity game, right? 'Cause you want to expose our youth in our community to your new world, because your new world is going to actually change the perspective of your community. You exposing them to new things and them following you is going to inspire people to believe that they can get out. Because some of these people, whether it's on the south side of Chicago, it's in Marcy, like you just said, Inglewood, Opelika, Florida, Bankhead in Atlanta. Like, some people have never left their community. Like, and when I say leave, I mean really leave. When I was playing for the Bears, I ran into people in the south side of Chicago because that's where I went to church. And it's like, yo, I'd never been downtown. Like, that's like, seriously, bro. Never been downtown. So the way you do it is you go back and you curate experiences, and you have the boundaries and the guardrails. You might have security out there around that. And then when you go home, you just got to know how to operate. You can't be in terrible positions. So
and not
there's
only
ways
that,
of doing it, but we're not thinking. Let me tell you this quick story real quick. All right. This is why this is it. Like, I love this. So I had the first time we opened up this facility, House of Athlete, right? We had 20-something guys come in, a great class. There was this one kid from the DMV area. Well, I tell it, look up his name. You know the kid that got shot.
Yeah.
So we did a whole series with FS1. It's called Going Pro Series, where we tracked them. Was 6-part docu-series, 30 minutes a pop. And we're following him. He was one of the stories. And so he and I, when he used to come in my office, we would play chess. Right? I played chess with a lot of the guys, and that's my way of like how you got to be critical thinking, et cetera, et cetera. And I used to tell him, like, yo, bro, you can't go home. That's the only knock on you. What's his name?
Jalen Time. How do you pronounce his last name? Timon?
So Jalen, he ended up getting drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. But I was just like, bro, don't go home. You can't. Every time you go home, you're going to get in trouble. And if you do go home, the same conversation we having here publicly, I'm having with him privately. And I'm like, you got way too much to lose. Ashley, man gets drafted, gets shot.
Wow.
A couple weeks after the draft.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's in the neighborhood with his homeboys. He's in the passenger seat with his homeboys. He's back. Got his jewels on, everything. They shot up the whole whip. I think one person may have died. Another person got shot. He got shot a couple times. And it had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
He just went home.
Just got in the crossfire,
Crossfire, right? So
I see a comment here from Deshaun Dockery, and he says, y'all basically asking guys they grew up with to be like, forget their friends. That takes growth. It's not about forgetting people that you grew up with. It's about making better decisions. I'll tell you this, Brandon, and you can attest to this as well. The only people who glamorize being from the hood are people who are not from the hood. There is nothing glamorous about the hood. There's nothing glamorous about struggling to make ends meet. There's nothing glamorous about living in a small apartment. There's nothing glamorous about being on food stamps. There's nothing glamorous about not being able to walk outside of your front door without worrying about if something's going to happen to you. There's nothing glamorous about being at a playground and hearing crack pipes burst underneath your feet as a little kid. There's nothing glamorous about that. Like, that's not a life that anybody wants to live. It's glamorized by people who don't live that life. So it's not about forgetting where you come from, and it's not about abandoning the people that you grew up with. It's about growing and getting smarter and knowing that certain situations are not beneficial to your growth as an individual. It's not about I wear New York on my sleeve like a badge of honor, but I also know that I have no business no longer being in certain parts of New York because there's nothing there for me anymore. I'll never forget where I come from.
Let me say this, and it's a great discussion, and again, I appreciate your perspective, whoever that was in the chat. When I was growing up, man, like, there were certain neighborhoods that we couldn't go in. Right. And I never forget, like, there was the projects on the west side of town, and that's where my babysitter was sometimes. So I'm in elementary school, my brother and I. So they drop us off. Everyone knew this is in elementary, right? They knew we were from the other side of town, east side. Okay.
Was it like a war, east side, west side?
So, I mean, just, you know how it is. It's territory, right? But we're in elementary, 4th, 5th graders at this phase of our life. We, as 4th and 5th graders, would take the long way around to my aunt's house. Like, if we had to go to the store, we had to go somewhere. We weren't walking through the PJs. We were in the PJs, but we'll go around the back, go up to the woods, go this way, that way. Like, who wants to go back to that?
Right.
It's crazy.
You understand? Think about that.
No, it's crazy.
Right? Like, you sitting on the porch, and you see this car. This is the conversation that we having. Yo, you seen that car? It stopped. It stopped a couple times. It circled the block a couple times. Who's this? And now all your homies is like putting their hand here, like, hold on, who's that? Nobody should.
My mom used to tell me to keep my bag, my little crossbodies or my little wristlets tucked into my jacket so I wouldn't get jacked.
Right.
So that nobody could just run up and like snatch my, like, that's an insane way to like have, that's an insane thing to have to remember. Like, everything that you own, keep it zipped up under your jacket. So if you're walking through the city, nobody can come and just mug you. Right. That's insane.
Right.
Like, that's an insane thing. Like, okay, got my phone, got my money, got my little Metro card. Oh wait, let me make sure I tuck it all in this jacket so nobody can, like, that's insane. That's not fun.
It's an unfortunate reality. Yeah.
Brandon Marshall, Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey Holmes, Corey in the cut. We also have BC in the we got to give him in the pod. BC in the pod. BC in the back. BC in the back.
Oh, BC in the back.
Woo.
Yo,
his name is.
Yo.
There you go. We
He
also
said,
got.
"Hey, yo."
Pause that.
We also got Andrew. I call him Woo, but it's really Who. We're gonna say
Who in the West, because that's the west side of the.
Who in the West.
Who in the West.
This is Paper Route. There you go.
No, Corey's in the cut.
I'm in the cut though.
Faction Talk, Channel 103, Sirius XM. Throwing it back to Corey in the cut.
Yeah, we're going to move on to the NFL. As Brandon mentioned at the top of the show, the regular season schedule is releasing tonight. But we do know of a couple, marquee matchups, and we also know of the rankings of the strength of schedule for a few teams. So I want to list a couple teams, right? Some who are at the top with the toughest, schedules and whatnot, but then also a couple teams that find themselves in the middle of the pack, which will lead me kind of into the question I have for you guys. So at the top, with the toughest schedule of the next season, we got the Eagles. Number 2
I'll take it.
Dolphins.
I'll take it, baby.
Yeah, I know, right? She likes to hear that. But tied at number 3, right? Giants, Patriots, and Cowboys. So you guys are still
top
like
3
the top
toughest?
5. Yeah.
How the hell did that happen?
Right. Yeah, I know, because I thought like the best teams are supposed to have the toughest schedules, right? I mean, the Eagles are up there, but on that note, 15, 16, and 17. So right in the middle of the pack. 49ers, Chiefs, and Bengals.
How the hell does that happen?
Exactly.
The Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Those were my same thoughts. So I wanted to ask you guys, who has the easiest road to the Super Bowl?
The NFL scripted. Wow. You can't tell me otherwise.
That's the question.
How do we have a tougher schedule than the Chiefs? They're fresh off of a Super Bowl.
Right.
They're not even in the top 3?
See, you're already losing. Y'all already losing.
No, it's not even. It's not even that. That doesn't even make any sense. You're fresh off of a Super Bowl.
Right.
You have the Eagles in the top 3. Makes sense. The Chiefs aren't even in the top 3. How are you middle of the pack?
Let me see.
My thought is maybe the
None of
NFC
this stuff
stronger
matters. See,
than
this is the
AFC.
problem. See, y'all get caught up in this stuff, and the games haven't even. Hell, camp hasn't even started, and you guys are worrying about this. Like, I think it is
Worrying about
cool.
the
Like
wrong
what we
things,
do when the schedule's released. All right, when you're in the locker room, what you do is you look at, like, okay, where are you going to be and when? Like, I'm looking at, yo, do I got Buffalo? I'm playing for the Miami Dolphins. Are we playing Buffalo in December in Miami or in Buffalo, right? Are we playing the Chicago Bears in Chicago in October or January? That's the stuff that we're looking at. But all this other stuff doesn't even matter. And then the first thing you're looking at is how many primetime games you have, right? I think it's like a rule where the maximum number of primetime games you can have is 5 or 6, right? But like that's kind of like what happens on the player's side when these schedules are released. Who are we playing and where? Because the weather matters. Like, nobody wants to be in Buffalo in December. It's brutal. Or even Chicago. And, yo, when am I playing Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football? That matters, okay? And because that's when you determines when you really going to get saucy. All right, let me go to my little shoe creator and have him spice me up some shoes there.
Customize
Or if
some
you had a
cleats.
deal.
It's not the point, Brandon. This is not. I hear what you're saying,
Okay,
but this
okay.
is not the point.
Okay, tell me, talk to me.
Strength of schedule is supposed to be based on last season. I'm not asking for the Cowboys to get a cakewalk. I simply want to know how the hell the reigning Super Bowl champions have a middle of the pack schedule, but I got to deal with top 3 toughest. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I feel like the schedule makers don't like the Cowboys. I'm going to put it out there because y'all are consistently setting us up to fail. And once is an accident, twice maybe is an accident, but this is too coincidental. I feel like the script is written against us. The jig is up. I'm on to you guys, and it's bull. It doesn't make any sense. How does that make sense? How are the Eagles here,
Well, look.
who lost the Super Bowl, but the Chiefs who won the Super Bowl are all the way down here? What are the guidelines for that? Somebody please explain that to me.
But why don't y'all have the mindset? This is why I said y'all already losing. Why can't you have the mindset and say, you know what? I don't care about the schedule.
I do care
I
about
don't care about the schedule. It don't matter who y'all put in front of us.
No.
We're going to run through them.
It's not even about that. I want to know what the logic behind it is.
Right.
How does that make any sense? The Eagles are here,
Right.
lost the Super Bowl, which I understand. They were in the biggest game of the year.
Let me look
They
at this.
reached the mountaintop, or almost the mountaintop. They're here. The Chiefs freaking hoisted the Lombardi, and they're here. And the Cowboys.
Well, because you also got to look at it.
14 spots ahead
listen,
them.
but because think about it.
I'm not buying.
Like, think about it. Like,
the script. It's a
I wanted
the
to
script.
make
Eagles,
the point.
who are they playing against? The Giants got better.
Yep, it's the division you guys
It's
are in.
division. It's division.
It's
That's
really
all it is.
backfiring, if we're being honest.
Right? Like,
then
anybody could be anybody in that division.
Because you
I
know who's
believe.
at
Scripts.
6 and 7 in toughest strength to schedule are the Jets and the Bills, right? So we talk about how good the AFC East is going to be this year. We talk about how good the NFC East is. All of those teams make up the top 7 toughest schedules, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what it comes down to, really. The Chiefs, their division. Who do they have in their division?
And also it rotates.
Give me Roger
too.
Goodell's number.
I haven't played.
I know you have it in your phone.
I got it.
Call him on the phone right now. I want to talk to him
More
because
non-conference.
I'm not. Call him on the phone
should've
right
called
now.
him.
I want to talk to him.
Non-conference games. That's it. Yeah.
Listen, but no. So here's what happens is, right? Like, it's not like, oh, you won a Super Bowl, and you should have the toughest schedule. It's not like that. It's, hey, your non-conference and non-division, damn, how do I say? I forgot so much football. Your
Division.
non-conference matchups rotate, right? So the Chiefs, whether they won the Super Bowl or not, they were going to play those divisions regardless. So that's how this shapes out. It has
That's
nothing to do with. Did you follow me there?
Yeah, I did. 100%.
Okay,
I
good.
followed you. I hear you. I want you to still call Roger Goodell.
Hey, well, let's look at some of the matchups we do know of, though. We got a nice little graphic for you guys with some of the marquee matchups, again, that we know of at this moment in time. We got the Dolphins and Chiefs. They're playing in London, Week 9. Dolphins versus Jets, Week 12. That's the Black Friday game that will air, I believe, on Amazon Prime. And then you got Giants versus Eagles. That's Christmas Day. And then you got Bengals versus Chiefs, New Year's Eve. And we also just learned that
Another great graphic.
Yeah. And
Giants versus Eagles, Christmas gag.
we also learned we got a Week 1 matchup, Bills at Jets. That should be a good one, too, September 11th. That's going to be the first Monday night football.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, the first Monday night football matchup. So
season opener?
Yep.
Well,
season opener.
No, what's the season opener this year?
That's their
It's the
season
Lions.
opener.
Lions and Chiefs is the season opener. Lions and Chiefs. Lions at Chiefs.
The Detroit Lions?
Detroit Lions, yes. They're a promising team.
Clip this, JP.
The Detroit
I agree
Lions
with Ashley.
and the Chiefs are the season opener.
They're the season
You
opener.
sure?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been.
Can we fact
that's-
check that?
Yeah, we might have to check.
It's on the website?
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm with Ashley here,
That's
yo.
what it's telling me. That's
What?
The internet is telling me. Yeah.
Who?
But we got a good Monday night football matchup. Bills Jets. That's cool, right?
No,
That's the real opener.
Let's
right?
dial back for a
I know,
second.
but it's after the entire weekend.
Who made that call?
Roger, you need to call Roger.
Why wouldn't we get a
Roger, add that
rematch
to
of
the combo.
Eagles Chiefs to open the season? How the hell did the Lions get in there?
I don't know.
Why would you go Eagles Chief?
Why wouldn't you do a rematch of the Super Bowl to start the season?
That would be cool. We do have that matchup somewhere in the season. We don't know of the date yet, but yeah. Yeah, Lions and Chiefs to start it off with.
Of all the teams in the NFL, you picked the Detroit Lions to start the season off? That's like
Listen,
Okay.
hold on. First off, Ashley, let me come up with some type of argument
Go ahead.
for the Lions.
Go ahead.
They were really good the second half of the season. They were really good.
They got promise.
And I think they're going to be really good this year.
Yeah, they got promise.
Right? So
Call Roger Goodell.
I know I can. That was my only fight, my only argument. For
Get
that's
him on
all
the
I
phone
had.
right now because none of this is
I
making
know.
sense.
Nobody really wants to see the Detroit Lions, right? And not in this moment. Respect to the Detroit Lions.
Respect.
Dan Campbell
Right.
changing the cultures thus far. Hopefully you can maintain it. Jared Goff getting his career back on track. He was deemed a bust leaving the Rams. Nobody thought he was going to be able to put the pieces back together, and now he's in position to actually get a big deal. Although they did draft the quarterback, which is interesting.
I'm not mad. Listen, I said this when we were still during football season. I'm not mad. Like, I think the Detroit Lions have a lot of promise. Like, this is not a knock to the Detroit Lions. This is not trying to bash the Lions. Detroit, I've been. They're a very welcoming city. I had a great time when I was there. But let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's be serious. Like, that's the season opener.
You could have done a little bit better.
You couldn't give me a little bit something more?
I know.
Like, just
Well,
a tad?
Well, Corey, I know you're probably going to ask me and Ashley what matchups we're really excited about.
Yeah.
And to me, this is the season opener, and that's the Bills and the Jets,
Like,
right? Like Monday
there
Night
weren't
Football.
any other teams matchups that we could have said, this
Let's
might
go.
work a little bit better. We should start shooting off
Ashley,
with this.
can we let it go?
No,
Stop
like,
bashing the Lions. We got
I'm
a lot
mad.
of Lions fans
I just
in here.
I'm not
We have
mad
a
at
lot
the
of Lions
Lions. I'm not mad at the Lions. Like, I'm
Well,
just,
how you think they feel
So
hearing
yeah,
you?
safe to say you're not looking forward to that matchup.
I just don't get it. It's not that I'm not. It's not that like I have an issue. Like I said, I think the Lions are going to be really good. Like,
Well,
I think- I just don't
maybe
get
the
it.
script is real. Maybe they're putting them in position
I've
and
been
start
trying
the
to tell you the script is
storyline.
real.
Start the storyline right now. Big matchup. Nobody understands it. Nobody gets it. They go out there. They beat Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid on their night, and then it's like, oh, should we pay attention to them? The story starts right then, and it continues throughout the season. And then they end up in the NFC Championship.
What about it? Would have been cool if it was like the Packers Jets, like Aaron Rodgers faces his old team.
would've been good.
Week
That would've
1,
been good.
first game.
That'd
Like
been good.
that would have been cool.
I know it's unfortunate, like the matchup.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
the
that
matchup
would've been
we would've
cool.
wanted
Right,
this year
right.
happened last year.
This
The
doesn't
Jets
have a
went to Green
storyline.
Bay
There's no
last year.
storyline here.
I just told you the storyline. It's the script.
No, but like there's no history storyline.
I know, but I do think that the Lions are going to be really, really good this year. I also think that the Colts are going to be really, really good this year. It's a team to watch out for. And I also think that the Browns are going to be really, really good this year. I think the Browns could find themselves really in a good spot at the end of this year. But the Bills-Jets Monday Night Football.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah. It's in New York. It's in MetLife Stadium.
You going to be there?
Yeah. You going to go?
I gotta.
Because you don't really go to games and stuff. You like watching. You're more of a fan that watches.
Listen, I will be at MetLife Stadium with you as long as the Giants aren't there.
The Jets.
I got no smoke with the Jets.
Right. Yeah. Tonight, Thursday. It's Thursday night, 8 p.m. The schedule's going to be released. I gave you guys my thoughts from a player's perspective. Players aren't really all excited like this about, the schedule. We're looking at those two things. How many primetime games am I playing in? From there, I'm going to hit up my boy, make these cleats for me. This is what I want. Bam, bam, bam. And then also, where are we playing in November, December, and January? Because it gets really cold. Actually, I played in a negative 13-degree game before.
Yikes, in Chicago?
It was against your Cowboys, soft-ass Cowboys.
In Chicago?
It was against the soft-ass Cowboys. It was in Chicago.
Did you win?
Yes. Let me tell you why we won, and I knew it before the game. So, Corey, you weren't too far. You were in Notre Dame. Know how far that ride is, but you understand how cold it gets out there, right?
Yeah.
So it's negative 13-degree weather, and they're talking about it all week. So boom, I got these cleats, and I put fur inside my cleats, right?
Man.
So these are the tricks that you do. So I
Keep
wear a size
warm.
13, so I ended up getting a size 14. Took them to the shoe cobbler, put some fur inside of my cleats. Because if your feet is good, your hands good, everything else is cool, right? Like that's all, for me. All I need is my toes to work.
Doesn't the heat leave your body from your feet?
I don't know about all of that.
I think it is.
But you got to think, like, being out there in those elements, man, your feet just freeze so quick.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to keep them things working. That's why you see the guys on the sideline, what they sitting on those heaters. Those benches get super hot, and now you can put your feet inside.
Well, then how do you explain those guys who, like, during the snow games are out there with no shirt on?
No, that's what I'm saying. So what you do is you're protecting underneath. You might have 2, 3, 4 layers underneath your shoulder pads and your jersey, right? Boom. Then you got like some thermal pants on, and then you got your toes. Most guys just have like those heated pads in their toes, and then your hands. You just got to have all the pouches, and you have heaters in there.
But what about the players?
You don't need that.
What about the
I
players
never wore sleeves.
Pre-game? They go out there and they got no shirt on, just their pants. They're walking around with no shoes on in the snow. You've seen those.
This gets me to
Are they
the
not
Dallas
cold?
Cowboys and why I call the Dallas Cowboys soft back then. Okay, new team, new people, but it's a statement. You see these guys coming out, they're just showing the other team that like
they're not
this
cold?
shit ain't gonna phase us.
Oh, got it.
We're not cold. So go back to that game. It was probably 2015, one of the coldest games ever. And we go out, we're doing that. Right? I wasn't one of those guys that didn't have no shirt on, but I wouldn't have no sleeves on, right?
Okay.
And so we're out there going through our normal pregame routine. So there's 2 routines. There's a warm-up where the players go out there, do whatever they want, and then they go back inside, get dressed, and then all the teams start coming out. The receivers, DBs, the kick returners, punt returners. Then you see the wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs come out. Then you see the D-line. Then you see the O-line come out, right? So there's a routine we go through. That first routine, no Dallas Cowboy player came out. I'm sitting out there we won this game. It's over. We were still doing our thing. And then I saw Dez Bryant. I promise you, Dez Bryant came out the tunnel. I'm way on the other side of the field. I seen Dez peek his head out. Look. Ran right back in the locker. I said, "Oh yeah, we got this game."
Man.
They did not want to warm up. So the weather matters. I said all that to say that that for me at least, and some of my teammates. That's what we were looking at. Man, nobody wants to play in certain places come the end of November.
I will say though, I do like how the NFL releases their schedules. And
It's so
usually it's
dope.
very creative. It's very cool. A lot of cool videos and stuff come out. So I am looking forward to that. We also have a question for you, Brandon.
Ooh.
Somebody in the chat wants to know, yo, Brandon, I think it's King Will Turner. Yo, Brandon, if an opportunity came, I guess, to play with the Jets, would you take it?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. Tight end though. I can't move how I used to move. Well, I think I can move how I used to move, but not as many times.
So if Aaron Rodgers calls you and he's like, yo, B, come play with me for the season. Come back to New York well, actually New Jersey. Come back to New Jersey. Put on the gang green.
Yes.
You're suiting up.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Oh.
Keep the conversation.
Oh. Corey, well, how many what do you think his record would be as a tight end for the Jets?
The record or how many?
Yeah, record or like what were his stats?
What a stat line? Yeah, what was his stat
No,
line
I
look
can
like?
give a realistic stat line.
Give me a realistic stat line.
I say about, because I mean, I doubt he'd be the starting tight end, right?
Uh-huh.
I think he'll get.
Ooh, shade.
I mean,
shade.
you'll get mixed in, right? Like you'll be honestly the more the tight end that gets mixed in on the passing situation. You don't want to be the starting tight end and have to block all the time. So they'll bring him in for passing situations. I think he'll finish with about like 15 to 20 catches.
I'm already
400
ready.
yards.
Oh,
like 4
wow.
touchdowns.
He's already ready.
Yeah.
I got my jersey.
B. Marsh.
I'm already ready. I got my
Is
jersey.
Is 15 available?
It will be. If I
Oh.
walk in the building.
So he's gonna make it
My
available.
jersey. I'm ready. He called me right now. I'm ready. I give him. Listen, this is gonna be the play. All right, what was the stats? Hold on, I heard what you said. First off, Corey.
He
before
said you
I
wouldn't
get
be a
into-
starting tight
I'm
end.
gonna up you on the catches.
No, first of all, I'm going to be the starting
you
tight
gonna be
end.
the starting tight end. All
No
right.
disrespect to whoever is out there right now. Okay, and then what you gonna give me? What's my
I said
stat
so.
line?
I might actually give you. I might give you because they'll work you in on like short yardage plays too.
Man, don't give me all these disclaimers, bro.
Man,
Like,
they're gonna give you. They'll give you like 30 catches. I'm gonna stay with the 400 yards, and you can get 4 touchdowns.
bro, that's nothing. How many yards?
I
You said
know.
30 catches, 40 yards, 400 yards,
400.
and then 4 touchdowns. See, Corey,
I'm a realist, man.
I'll be a third down guy.
Uh-huh.
So those 30 will actually turn into 45.
That's what I'm saying. You might be situational. You're gonna be
I'm
situational.
definitely
though.
situational.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I got you at 30.
Third
but they're
down
gonna
in
be
red
30
zone.
meaningful catches though.
That's it. And I only want to play 25 to 30 plays a game.
Okay.
So I come out, boom. I'm gonna give you. So Jets fans, there's an opportunity. If there's an opportunity to come back, I'm coming back. Play tight end, and here's what I'm gonna give you, off of my 25 to 30 plays. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 45 catches. I'm gonna give you.
Wait,
guys
hold on. Before you say
8
this, we need
touchdowns.
the ISO. Just get Brandon because this is his audition tape, and go.
All right. So here's my audition tape. Here's why I'll be ready if I get the call to come back as a New York Jet at tight end. Okay, it's because we're going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to help participate. Right, I'm going to be able to contribute at a high level, and this is what I'm going to give you: 45 catches throughout the year. Okay, 20 to 30 plays a game. And I'm going to give you 8 touchdowns, Corey, not 4. 8 touchdowns. You can just put me out there and can still just do a jump ball.
Right.
That's it. Fade.
My question for you, my biggest concern rather, is how are you going to do the first time you get hit?
Ooh, that I don't know.
It's been a while since you've been hit.
Well, how
I'll
about
be
this?
I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you. Like I'll watch the games now, and I'll be like, how the hell did I do that? Right? Like, and I was a guy that played like relentless, fearless. I loved the. Well, no, I didn't love the contact, but you know what I'm saying, like I imposed, my will, and so like now watching that and seeing guys run that fast and just smack each other, boom. And they bounce right back up. I'm like, how the hell? It's hard for me to even watch at times.
Okay.
Really. So to answer your question, Ashley, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I might get hit the first. I might get hit the first time and be like, why the hell I do that?
No. Better yet.
I might act like AD.
Yeah.
Wheelchair me out.
Better yet, what you gonna do when they check pass?
They're gonna bring the cart, the golf cart out for
What
you.
you gonna do? You on the line. You connected to the formation, and they check from a pass to a run. You got Von Miller on the edge, and you got block Von Miller. What you gonna do then?
Oh, I got Vaughn.
You got that?
I got Vaughn. I blocked Vaughn. I just got to speed with speed. Now, if you say Aaron Donald, you say
Miles Garrett.
Miles
Miles
Garrett, them
Garrett coming
boys
off the edge.
big. Like no, but Von Miller, pause moment coming up here. You ever seen his thighs?
Bruh.
This guy's thighs are like tree
pause.
trunks.
Nah,
Is
the
that a
man- the
pause
man-
moment?
The man put together pause.
No.
He put together.
Oh my God.
Yo, his trunks is like, they like huge.
Yeah.
So that's I'm saying there's a lot of power. You know what I mean? Football players, you gotta have a strong trunk. You gotta be powerful from those hips down. That's why guys squat a lot. You see football players with big booties. Pause.
Oh,
If that's another pause moment,
That
that's
was super
whatever.
pause.
I don't know.
Someone said, "Don't let Micah Parsons get you."
That's speed. I got Michael Parsons. I got Von Miller. I feel like I'm in good position with them to block them because it's speed. For speed, now I'm just using my feet, right? But the other big boys, they might go. We call it speed to what they say, speed to power.
Yeah.
So they go and then they just run into you, smack, and they push you right back into the quarterback. But what I'm gonna do is when they do that, I'll drop. I'll turn. I'll cut their legs out.
Me force. Just try to stop it right there.
Nah, I'm messing. No, those dudes will run right through me, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that end pretty. All right, guys, we're going to move on.
It'll make for great content for the channel, though.
Right.
Paper Route, live from MetLife Stadium every other Sunday. Be there. Be square.
I'm weak.
We'll have McGee on the sidelines as Brandon's warming up after he takes his first hit. Brandon's laying on the ground, not getting it. Yo, B, you okay? You okay?
Oh, man.
Okay.
I can take a hit right now. You think I could take a hit right now?
It depends on from whom.
Yeah. That's when I actually knew my
But I
career
feel
was
like you
coming
feel
to
it the
an end.
next day. I feel like you would wake up with like a soreness that you have not felt in a very long time. Like
Listen,
You knew how to get hit, though, as a receiver.
Yeah, but
You
this
knew
is
how
when,
to get
Corey, this is when I knew it was over, bro.
Mhm.
Playing for the Giants. It was a preseason game in Cleveland, I believe. And I had a go ball. I beat the cornerback. Bam. Eli threw this pretty ball. It was a nighttime game. Boom, the ball get lost in the lights. But it comes out and I track it. Boom, I'm ready. It's going to be a big play. But I see, is it Jabril Peppers? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The safety that came out of Michigan. He's bounced around a couple times. I see him closing on me. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a bang. We call it a bang play. So I'm going to catch it and I'm going to get hit. Boom. Ball drops right in the pocket. As soon as I go to catch it, he comes and smacks me. Wow. He hit me so hard that I didn't even hit the ground. I stayed up.
what?
And I just remember sitting there on the side. I'm like, oh, shit, do I got to go back in?
What quarter is this? It's only the first? Oh, nah, bro. I can't do it.
Right. And then there was another moment where, like, I felt the ground for the first time. Right? Like, think about you jump high. Some of these dudes, it wasn't me, jump, 40-inch verticals, whatever, 37-inch verticals. They're up there, right? And then you get hit while you're up there. So that's even more velocity and more speed carrying you to the ground, right? So, boom. When you hit the ground, you see guys bounce up. Most of these guys, they don't feel that ground. That's nothing. Bro, one time I went up for a fade ball, and then I came down, hit the ground, bam. And that was the first time I felt the damn ground, like the grass. I'm like, holy shit, that hurt.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh my goodness. Those are the things that makes you think twice about playing or continue to play. It's like, that's like, damn, like that's a little, foreign, that's new. I don't think I could play. They'll crush me out there.
He said, with all that shit.
Come on. Maybe your only shot at a Super Bowl.
No, this is Brandon Marshall, Ashley Nicole. Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers calls you and said, yo, B, we going to the motherland. Listen, I got you.
Brandon Marshall, Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey in the cut. You got BC. What did we say?
Back.
In the back. And we got
Woo in the West.
Woo in the West on SiriusXM, YouTube, Faction Talk, Channel 103.
Yes, sir.
We love you guys. All right, let's jump into where we at? Fact or Foolish?
We're at Fact or Foolish.
Take this off.
Yes, sir. So, in this segment, remember, we're going to read a statement. They're going to determine whether it's fact or foolish, and they got to give their explanation why. So, our first statement, quarterback Jordan Love has a better first year as a starter in Green Bay than Aaron Rodgers. Fact or foolish? And to give a little context or information, rather, Aaron Rodgers, his first year as a starter was in 2008. The Packers finished with a record of 6-10, and Aaron Rodgers finished with 4,038 yards, 28 touchdowns, and had a completion percentage of 63%. So fact or foolish, Jordan Love has a better first year as a starter than Aaron Rodgers.
Now, is this question
about the team record or his individual
consider
stats?
everything. Consider everything. Does he finish with a better record? Maybe he falls short of the yards, but gets more touchdowns.
When you
Does
say
he
first,
overall have
when you
a
say
better first year?
When you say first year, are you comparing his first year as a starter to Aaron Rodgers' first year as a starter?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm going to say foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say foolish here, right? Like one of the things that we know. Well, you can't say this. I was going to say like Aaron Rodgers is, you know, a once-in-a-lifetime type player, type talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's I can't say goated because I think we throw around that word way too much.
Yeah.
There's only one GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
We had this discussion, and you guys disagree with me there. And I can't say that because Aaron Rodgers was looked over in the first round as well. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting in the green room for a very long time, and he also sat for 4 years. And then he got his opportunity to replace Brett Favre, and then he went on this legendary run, won a Super Bowl, 2 MVPs? I don't know, was it 2 or 3? But multiple MVPs. And to me, like I always say, I've never seen anyone throw the ball the way he still throws the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Love's upside is that, but you never know, right? Like you never know like what they got in a guy like in a Jordan Love.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? He could go out there and have a phenomenal year. He can go out there and turn this into a phenomenal career. Like we never know until he gets out there. That is the problem.
It's kind of hard though to even fathom that with a team full of ghosts. Like there's nobody there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there. I don't know who was on. I can't recall who was on the team when Aaron Rodgers got his first start. Maybe somebody can give me that. Was it
Jordy Nelson?
Oh yeah, Jordy Nelson. I mean,
Jordy Nelson. Cobb came in. Greg Jennings.
Yes. So you had Cobb,
Donald Driver,
right?
The big tight end.
Okay, like be for real. Like who does Jordan Love have?
That's true. That's
like
true,
if Jordan
actually,
Love had a team that was even a fraction of what Aaron Rodgers had in his
Charles
first
Woodson
year.
on the other side.
Charles freaking Woodson. Like if Jordan Love had a fraction of that team, or that not that team, but the talent of that team, I would say it's a possibility. But he's got a team full of. It's a ghost team. It's like a ghost town. There's nobody there.
You think they can get more than 6 wins though? He falls short of 6 wins. They didn't have that good of a record in 2008.
I mean, the Chicago Bears. Let's think about it. They're going to play the
Chicago.
Chicago Bears twice. The Chicago Bears are going to be really good. They had a phenomenal free agency. They had a phenomenal draft. Justin Fields is going to be better. He seems to be super locked in.
Yeah.
We saw what he did last year. I think he's going to be better throwing the ball with this new offensive coordinator. The Lions are going to be better. We just talked about them, right? We laughed at them, not because it's the Lions, but because like there definitely was a better matchup for the NFL opening night.
They're going to be nice, though.
But the Lions are going to be really good, and then you got the Vikings. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins, and you know what they drafted another wide receiver was not
Jordan
Flowers.
Addison.
What's his name?
Jordan Addison.
Yeah, kid was at Pitt, then he went to USC,
yeah.
right? And now he's over there on the other side of Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Come on. So, Corey, I would say I would take the under on the 6 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take the under. It's going to be too tough in their division, and then also, you know, the other teams they have to face.
Yeah. No, makes sense. All right, moving on, guys. Joe Burrow and the Bengals beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on New Year's. Fact or foolish?
Fact. Think.
So Burrow he reclaims.
What is that going to be? 4-0 or no, not 4-0.
They're doing a game on New Year's Eve. That's usually college. That's usually college football's day. That's interesting.
They say Joe Burrow has Patrick Mahomes' number, right?
Yeah, but their most recent matchup, you know, is what propelled the Chiefs.
That's right.
To the they went to they played them in the divisional round, I think. Right.
Well, regardless, I think that this is a premier game. It's going to be phenomenal.
I believe in the Joey B supremacy.
And I would say, you know what? I'm gonna say foolish.
Okay.
I think Patrick Mahomes is just going to have. I'm betting early on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP. And obviously people are going, that's not hard. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's not
right?
a hot take.
It's not. It's not definitely not a hot take.
That's like saying I expect LeBron James to be a top 5 player.
All right, let me say it this way.
Like,
all right, let me say it this way. I think that this is going to be Patrick Mahomes' best year yet. That's what I believe.
Statistically,
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not necessarily saying it's going to come along with a
what
Super
year is
Bowl
this for
win,
Patrick Mahomes? You know, there's just something with like when you're in your prime is when it's year 7. Like this is the sweet spot for him. Like he's been in his prime, but like there's a mental prime. And so like when you're able to understand everything that's going on the defensive side, what defensive coordinators are throwing at you. You understand the matchups. You understand, your matchups when it comes to this receiver versus that DB, which means you know the players on the field as well, what they do well, what they don't do well, where they're challenged. And then you're able to say, I want to do this, and your body reacts and responds. That's where Patrick Mahomes is. Like, Patrick Mahomes, I would say, is either, when you look at these other quarterbacks, like the Joe Burrows of the world, the Josh Allens of the world, like, his process is a little faster now, way faster. He has the experience at the highest level. Multiple Super Bowl appearances, already has an MVP. He's under Andy Reid. He's in the same system. So I truly believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be scary this year.
Mm-hmm. We shall see.
So, I'm gonna go foolish here.
Foolish.
I'm gonna go foolish.
And you had foolish too, right, Ashley?
Yeah. No, I had fact.
Oh, you had fact.
I believe in the Joey B supremacy.
So Burrow does reclaim Berlin. All right, we shall see. All right, guys, moving on. JJ Redick reportedly interviewed for the Toronto Raptors head coaching job. So, my question to you guys: JJ Redick walks away from TV and takes Raptors job. Fact or foolish?
Fact.
I say
what's
foolish.
What's the guy's name? Asai. What's the president's name of this team?
I don't want to mess it up.
Masai Ujiri.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, BC.
Jury.
Yeah. So 2 weekends ago, I was at this conference where they brought together some of the most prominent minority men and women, C-suite level, and then also venture from the venture world as well. And he actually came and he spoke. He sat on the panel, and he made some interesting comments after. And I will say this because I want to protect that space. He's thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
And this is out. To me, it's not that far outside the box because everybody that knows JJ Redick, and if you listen to him talk, you know that he knows basketball. His whole podcast, when I sat down with JJ in New York, we had lunch at the Soho House about a year ago, and in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, right there in Dumbo, looking.
So
at
that's
the water.
not the Soho House. That's Dumbo House. Have some respect.
It's still the same. It's the
yes,
same
but they're
company.
different names. Dumbo House and Soho House are not the same. They're
Okay.
in two different places.
Okay, great. All right, there you go. and I was asking him about his podcast and what he was doing with it or whatever, and we're just bouncing some things off each other, and he's like, he truly feels that there's not enough education out there when it comes to basketball, like people talking at a high level, when he's really into the analytics, statistics, the history of the game. And so, like, when you hear him speak, he speak as if he's a coach, right? And I think guys respect him. I think guys listen to him. And I think he'll do an amazing job because he also has, like, a fiery side to him, right?
Yeah, JJ has a little swagger to him.
Yeah, like he's
Even
a player.
though he went to puke, whatever.
Yeah. So this is fact to me, Ashley.
I think it's foolish.
I think why?
Because JJ, one, I think is just entering his TV bag in the sense of, like, he's really getting his flowers as a really good analyst. Like,
Right.
he's honest.
I love watching him on
He's
TV.
unapologetic.
He's one of the best.
He comes from a place of being in the locker room. He really understands the history of the game. He understands modern basketball. He understands basketball of the past. He understands eras. Like, he's extremely smart. But also, I remember the story of, I believe he was in Dallas, and he wanted to be traded, but he wanted to be traded to New York because his family's in Brooklyn.
That's right.
We're not talking about him getting a job in Philly, and he talks about when he used to play for the 76ers, how he used to commute because he
right,
lived
yeah.
in Brooklyn.
That's right.
And his family lived there. So we're not talking about him getting a head coaching job in Philly, Brooklyn, New York. We're talking about Toronto, which is a different country. You need a passport. Like, you can't, he's not abandoning New York City, a place
No,
that
he
he's
is, though.
always wanted to be in, where his family is, to go to Toronto. I just don't see it.
I went to college with his wife. She has a twin, and so that's how I'm really close to them. And JJ actually played for the Orlando Magic when I was at UCF, and just in that Orlando area. And I'm almost positive that they sold their place in Brooklyn.
No, that's still there.
I want to say that, like, and I think they bought something somewhere else. But I'm saying this to say that his family's going to go with him, right? Ashley, like his family, if this is what he wants, that's what's going to happen. And I would say you're right when it comes to JJ really being his bag when it comes to a TV personality and just giving his takes and his perspective. But that's not JJ's heart to me. To me,
Really?
JJ is all ball, right? He's one of those guys that's just like want to be around the game in its intimate form. Like some guys say, yeah, I like to do the TV stuff because I want to stay close to the game when they retire. I don't know why guys say that. Like, I'm done playing ball, now I want to stay close to the game. Bro, you're done. Move on. But there's some people, that really want to stay close to it and want to stay involved. And I think JJ is that guy that really want to be a coach. So I see him taking this, Ash. But we'll see. And if he stays on ESPN, look, he'll be continue to be phenomenal. He'll make a crap ton of money. He'll also continue to do his podcast and make a crap ton of money there. But if he goes, I'll be rooting for him. JJ's a guy that you want to root for.
Yeah, I agree. JJ's a really nice guy. He has a really good energy about him. Again, I think he isn't afraid to criticize players, but he does it in a way that's respectful and in a way that's not attacking things that's outside of the game. He has a really good knack for staying inside the realms of the game that I think that sometimes can get lost in like this hot take era. Sometimes it gets a little bit disrespectful, it gets a little bit personal, and I think that JJ has a really good knack, especially on such a huge platform like ESPN, to criticize, but not to the point where it seems malicious.
Right.
That it's staying within the realms of the game, within the realms of the arena, and I think that's why so many people respect what comes out of his mouth.
Let me ask you this question before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What's the better story?
Mm-hmm.
JJ goes and wins a championship as a head coach, or JJ signs a $200 million deal on ESPN, making $15, $20 million a year.
I mean, I don't think there's a better story. I think that either story is
if you're
impactful.
JJ, what excites you more? You're JJ Redick.
I mean, would excite me more would be.
No, you're JJ Redick competitor. What you think?
I mean, I think that JJ Redick signing a huge TV deal as a former player on ESPN, having his own podcast, building out that, infrastructure, still being respected by his peers, being named. I mean, he's just nominated for an Emmy, I believe. Like, that's a huge story. That's not something that a lot of former players, you have former players who are analysts and things like that, but to be a former player at that level, I think of like a Nate Burleson, who's been multiple time nominated for Emmys, is on CBS. You see him on CBS for football. You see him on Nickel. I mean, it's different to be a former player and reach that level. Like, that's a huge story too. Then going to Toronto and possibly winning a championship. It's not like they're ready for a championship tomorrow. They got work to do.
Why didn't you throw my name in there, Ashley?
Because I'm talking about network TV guys. So JJ's
I was
on.
nominated for 2 sports Emmys, Ashley.
We're talking about JJ right now.
But,
you were nominated for 2.
Yeah.
Did you win?
I didn't win.
Oh, was it inside the NFL?
It was inside the NFL.
Very cool.
My second year
Wasn't
on Inside
Julian
the
nominated
NFL.
also? I don't think he won, but I think he was nominated as well for Inside the NFL.
Julian
Edelman.
I think
year.
so. I think so. Julian's phenomenal. I think Julian can do whatever the hell he wants. This is Julian Edelman, by the way. Obviously, you guys should know that name, but played for.
He's funny too. I didn't realize he was so funny.
He's really good.
I didn't realize he had a personality. No shade, Julian, but you don't really get a feel for guys' personality sometimes.
Yeah, but
he's funny.
We'll go back to Julian, but before we do that,
And Brandon Marshall, 2-time
she just
sports
named
Emmy
Nate
nominated.
Who did she
CEO,
say?
founder. Pioneer.
No, I don't need that. I just need
okay, 2-time.
know your teammates.
I didn't know that you were nominated for
all
2
these
Emmy.
athletes.
I didn't know you had 2 Emmy nominations. That's very impressive.
All right, we got to get
like as an indivial or like part of the
individual.
Stop it for real. What years?
Yeah, so the first one was like new personality.
So emerging
or
sports
no, it
personality.
was the first one was studio personality, and then the second one was
emerging.
Yeah, no, it wasn't emerging.
Oh, just right. Okay.
That's probably why I lost, because I was going up against the MLB guys were in that category, and they win it every single year.
Yeah, they're
right.
good.
And then also, you know who else is in that category as well is TNT as well.
Yeah, inside the NBA.
Right, and maybe it was that year that Charles and those.
They're
guys
all nominated this year.
I know they're always nominated. MLB, TNT, that one. And then the second one was a piece that we did telling the story in Nashville, where I went and there was a kid, Xavier, who got shot, who got murdered. So I flew down there, and we sat with his mom and his brother. His brother shielded him, right? Or shielded some of his classmates, was a few young ladies, and he ended up being the one that got shot. So we told that story. We played it during the Super Bowl, and that was the piece. That was the second piece. So why are you looking like that?
I didn't know. I'm processing. I didn't know that. That's amazing. 2 Emmys. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, before we head out, we got to get you guys' thoughts on these Game 6 matchups that we have tonight. So first, we're going to start with the Nuggets and Suns. Fact or foolish, Nuggets advance to the Western Conference Finals tonight.
Foolish. The Suns are going to tap into their depth. They're going to go deep, right? You're going to see a Payton step up and have a phenomenal game. Someone deep in that bench is going to have a game-changing moment that's going to not advance, but extend this series.
Who's it going to be?
I think it's going to be Payton.
Who you got? Well, who you got winning tonight? Real quick, Ashley.
The Valley, I think, has a good home crowd. I think the pressure lies more on the Suns. So I don't know how intense the Nuggets are going to play. My gut leans towards the Nuggets because it's do or die. The Suns because it's do or die.
Right.
And I think that the Nuggets know they have the cushion of going back home to play in Game 7, that altitude's an advantage. But I say the Nuggets close it out tonight. Right. I'm gonna go with my gut.
KD, baby. Hey, don't be dribbling the ball off your leg today, baby. That boy get a Snickers. He better get a Snickers tonight.
All right,
he was sluggish a little bit. Come on, you can't admit that. We know he love a homie.
He I wouldn't say sluggish. He looked, what's the word I'm looking for? He looked discombobulated. Like, he didn't look slow to me. Sluggish is like slow and tired. He didn't look that. He looked just
he did this. Boom, boom.
He just didn't look sharp. He didn't look sharp. That's the word I'm looking for. He didn't look sharp. Like, it didn't look like he was on his P's and Q's.
Yeah. Let's go, baby. I need the Nuggets to advance. Win this one. Extend the series. Shoot.
Okay.
I need the Suns to win the game.
Speak it into fruition.
Extend this series and then advance in a Game 7. They can get it done.
All right, other team facing elimination, the Boston Celtics. Can they force Game 7 against the Sixers tonight? Fact or foolish?
Yes.
Yeah?
No, they're done.
No, they'll force a Game 7
Where's
tonight.
this game at? This game at? It's at Boston. They're done.
No, they force a game.
Look in their eyes. Ash, I keep telling you that. Look into their eyes and you're going to see everything.
Oh, wait, no. This game's in Philly.
It doesn't matter where it's at.
It is in Philly.
It is in Philly because 6, 7, it's in, ooh.
They could be playing at the YMCA. Don't matter.
Philly?
Bubble. Doesn't matter.
Philly crowd, Boston crowd, they're rowdy in different ways. So I don't think that the crowd will be a factor as much. They play in Boston, not Oklahoma City. No shade, OKC.
Foolish. Just say it. Come on, Ashley.
And it's a wrap.
You've seen their eyes.
I say facts.
Facts?
We love you guys. This was a phenomenal week of Paper Route. Ashley, Nicole Moss, we really appreciate you and your Knicks takes over the last 2 days.
Baby.
I don't think you're going to be talking about the Knicks anymore. Next time we see you on Monday, the Knicks would be eliminated by then. Look, she don't like that. Is that bad? That's bad
you
energy.
Relax.
You don't like that?
You gotta relax.
Yeah, talk to him, BC.
Relax.
I can't handle my lightweight. Handle my light work.
We can't.
BC, we can't hear you. I can't even hear. Maybe it's.
I can hear him.
Oh, you can hear him?
Yeah, we can't deal with that disrespect.
Right. Right. Right.
All right, we'll see you guys Monday at noon. Paper Route. Love you guys.